Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Digital Studio. I am your man out of Japan, Jay Contra, and we are here looking at the most expensive N64 games on the Surugaya website. If you're not familiar with Surugaya, they are a large secondhand retailer of video games, cards, toys, pretty much all the nerd good stuff that you could expect to find in Japan. Now, their website, they do have an English website meant for an international audience that is pretty distinct from their Japanese website. I don't know if you can order things through the Japanese website, but I thought this would be a chance for us to go and look at the most expensive stuff that you could buy for the N64. Let's start off with, let's just get into it with Get or Love. Get or Love is a really interesting game to me because it's sort of like a cross between Mario Party and like a dating sim. Because it's like, so the whole premise behind the game is you're just like you're a bunch of dudes running around town. You can play it with up to 4 people. And you're like trying to hook up with anime babes, and you do it by basically just playing mini games. You're basically just playing a lot of mini games. It's a lot of fun. I bought it back when it was like $20, like 5 years ago, but it's really jumped up in price. But the real interesting thing to me is it's $180. Right now it's $108 to the yen, and it's also including tax. I should mention that Surugaya prices, as far as I've seen, always include tax. But when you compare Get or Love to, say, like Rendering Ranger R2, the most expensive game for the Super Famicom, that's like a $2,500 game. Get or Love is not even $200. It might be if you find it at Mandarake. Compare it to, like, what's the most expensive Famicom game? Like Rekka, which, I mean, used to be $1,500. You got a $200 game. The N64 in Japan is still incredibly affordable. It's incredibly collectible. And so I would still, like, even today, when I see some of the insane prices on stuff like Mario Party, Smash Brothers, like, the prices on American games are just really, really high when they don't have to be. And this second one here, I don't understand why this is so expensive. So this is Pro Yaku King 2, sequel to Pro Yaku King 1 for the N64. And it's going for $150 complete in box. The box does have some problems with it. Could be dirty. Yeah, it's got some damage to it, and it's going for $150. And I don't understand why, because Pro Yaku King 2, like, if you buy it loose, it's like $10, I think. Actually, I wonder, what would the loose price on this be? Let me just search for it. I don't know if you can see the drop-down menus from what I'm looking at. Now, why don't I see it loose? See, so yeah, so I wanted to know what the price difference on this was going to be. But it's just a baseball game. It's not that good. I reviewed it as a part of this baseball series that I did on all the baseball games for the N64, and there's nothing special about it. So why it's $150? Beyond me. Bangayo, the reason Bangayo is like $140 is because, for one, it's really good. It's an amazing 2D like shooter. Produced by Treasure, was a late release in the N64's life cycle, and it only had like 10,000 copies, which I think was pretty low for games at the time. And the better version is for the Dreamcast, which is, I think, about like $50. I mean, I think it can like top out at like $80 depending on its condition. But I would highly recommend playing Bangayo if you haven't already, and especially if you're an import collector for the N64. It's very fun. Like, there's so much going on. It's a lot of explosions, a lot of like anime, crazy late 90s anime tropes going on in the game. Really, really fun. And then this is maybe the most interesting thing. There's a lot of it. Actually, for as boring and as bland as I think the N64 is, and I say this as someone who has a complete N64 Japanese set, There is some interesting stuff for it that I'm actually surprised to see. Like for here, we've got the American copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's going for $140. For the longest time, I thought this was going to be super expensive, but when did this come out? I'm pretty sure this came out in like 2000 or 2001. This is a really late release for the N64. It was a low print run because it's a Rare game and developed by Rare, and because it's more of an adult focus, which the N64 was always a console meant for family and kids. Doesn't seem to be anything super wrong with it. It's going for 140. I wish. Although I wonder, look, I wonder if this is a stock photo. So what Surugaya will do is they will have stock photos of very expensive games, and they just expect you to buy it that way. They expect you to trust them enough to purchase the game like that. And I have been, I don't want to say burned, but I've bought a lot of games from Surugaya that were a bit pricey that ended up having damage to them that I did not expect. And this is even just looking at them in person. I didn't do my due diligence properly when looking at the game. I just wanted the game. And it ended up having more damage to like the outer box. It's all superficial. The games work fine. They've been tested. But if you're looking at the superficial aspects of these things, what Surugaya counts as normal has a pretty wide variance when you compare it to the grading systems of, say, Mandarake, where if it's got a scratch on it, it's a B grade and it's $20 cheaper. Whereas with Surugaya, it could have some edge wear and they're still counting it at the full price. It just depends. Because if you look here, actually, and this is maybe hopefully going to bring us a good example. But looking at, so this copy of Bangayo is going for, what is that, $40 cheaper? It's about $100, $110. Now, why might that be? Now, it's because, if you look here, got some damage here. You've got some corner wear. I think, what are they advertising it as? Well, when you compare it to this copy of the game, this looks pristine. If this is the copy of the game that they're selling, which is probably not the case. Yeah, considering that they've got it at all of these different brick and mortar stores. But this one is very specific. This is the one copy that they're trying to sell. So I'm assuming that the picture that they have uploaded to this listing is the one that you're going to be buying. So if you want to save, well, okay, it's like $30. If you want to save $30, you can pick up this copy right here. And yeah, it's going to have some superficial wear. The game's going to be perfectly fine. Next up is the F0x Expansion Kit. This is going for $110. Now what? Ooh, man, that's really scratched up. I'm betting, is this being sold at full price? Yeah, it's not saying there's anything wrong with this, even though clearly there's lots of scratches on the case. Now, what is even the point of this? Because there was F0 for the Famicom, for the N64, and then for the 64DD, they came out with the expansion kit. I want to say, did this come with like extra? I think this is basically you like just built your own. You built your own tracks. Could you do that in the original F0 for the N64? I don't remember. And it's, I think, also got some way where you can connect to the internet. Maybe you could share your scores. I wonder if you could upload your tracks to the internet. That would have been very cool if you could have done that in the past. But now it's probably not that functional. You're paying $110 for what is, I'm guessing, a custom track creator. And this is actually not even the most expensive N64 stuff. Now that this has reminded me that the most expensive games for the N64 are like, there's a golf game for the 64DD that's like, probably like worth thousands of dollars now. And then there's also Doshin the Giant. There was the red one that I think is like Doshin the Giant 2. It is very expensive. It's like at least $700. I hardly ever even see it now. It is that rare. And so I'm surprised not to even see it listed here. Next, we've got, what is this? Akumajo Dracula, The Legend of Cornell. This is going for $110-ish. What did I say? Did I say the price, did I say the yen to the dollar? It's about 108 yen to the dollar as of the filming of this video. Now it's the second 3D Castlevania. I don't think there's a whole lot of love for these games. It's really just rare because yeah, it came out in 1999, Christmas Day 1999, and so it probably had a really low print run. This was back when, yeah, they had 3D Castlevanias, but also the Game Boy Advance games were coming out at the same time, and the Game Boy Advance ones were just better. I think we can all agree on that. Next, we've got a $100 copy of Killer Instinct Gold, complete in box, the North American copy. And then here, what's the price difference here for Get Our Love? We've got it for $100. And that's compared to the $180 for the same copy. Yeah, so that's also something wild to me. When let's compare it again to the Super Famicom and although the Famicom, the Famicom only had, when you think about the most expensive cartridges, it's like Rekka, Gimmick, Spy Hunter. Those are like $300 cartridges, and they're actually going down in price now. The Super Famicom, the most expensive cartridge would probably be Rendering Ranger R2. That's like $700. And then you've got the most expensive cartridge here. We're not going to talk about the disc drive games because that's for if you want to spend ass loads of money, yeah, you could buy some disc drive games. But if you just limit yourself to the cartridges, and I think reasonably limit yourself to the cartridges, just $100 for the most expensive N64 cartridge. Let's see, what is this? Oh, and then here's another DD game. It doesn't have the picture, though. That's $90 for Mario Artist Paint Studio. This includes the mouse. However, the boxes have some problem. It's like, yeah, because I think these came in like cardboard boxes with the jewel case inside. And so it sums up with those. Probably just cosmetic damage. Then we've got Resident Evil 2. It's going for $90. Yeah, again, it's got all the hallmarks. High demand because Resident Evil 2. And also it has low print run because it's a 2000 game. Like the N64 is like dead at this point. Like it's got some good games coming out for it, like Resident Evil 2, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Majora's Mask. But it's dead at this point. Like it's just waiting for the GameCube to come out. Here we've got Mario no Photopea. This is the craziest one when you think about it. So, like Mario no Photopea, we have to take a time machine back to the year 1998. If you're not familiar with Mario no Photopea, and it's crazy obscure, it doesn't make any today doesn't make any sense. Maybe it did back in 1998. So this has not been developed by Nintendo. This has actually been developed by a Japanese, I think it's like an electronics company. It's Tokyo Electronic Device Incorporated. It's this crazy cartridge. I actually did a review on this back when that's what I was doing for the N64. It's this fat cartridge that it has got 2 slots inside the cartridge. These slots are for this old kind of storage media called, Smart Media cards. These are like the predecessor to SD cards. They're like way bigger. They're like way more prone to failure. Like I can't find one that even works today. But these were used in old digital cameras. Like think about like Japan. We have this image of Japan as being like super technologically advanced, which I don't know if that's really true today, but it definitely was back in like the 90s, back when you had all these Japanese electronics companies who were really on the cutting edge of consumer electronics. And so digital cameras, I think, really took on more in Japan, or more rapidly in Japan than they did elsewhere. So you had people with digital cameras, and they would slide in these smart media cards. You could then take the photos that you took with this camera, take out the card, put it into the cartridge of Mario no Photopea, and you basically had like an almost Mario Paint kind of interface where you could put like Mario stickers, cool designs, cool graphics, put it on your photos, save them. Then you could take those smart media cards to a shop, put it in a kiosk, and you can print out those photos. So really, this is just like a photo editor. And it's really uncommon, probably because it didn't have a high print run. Not even as quickly as Japan adopted that cutting edge digital camera back in the day. Probably wasn't that widely adopted to have been as popular as some other games. In the Mario franchise, like it's crazy to me that Nintendo would have licensed Mario to an outside company. I'm sure they did it in other cases. Just none come off on the top of my head right now. And it's $80. It's pretty hard to find, or at least it was. Apparently they've got a couple copies. But I had a hell of a time finding that like 5 years ago when I was completing my collection. Next, we've got just this, just the South Park game, going for $80. Then we've got Bomberman 64. This is a special game simply because it is the last game that came out for the N64 in Japan. This is actually, I'm like 90% sure that this is actually the N64 port of Bomberman Land, which might have come out for the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation. I can't remember. This is just basically a bunch of mini games. You walk around a theme park and you go into different stalls and you play mini games. It's really fun. Next, we've got Mace the Dark Age. I don't even know what that is. Does it have no image? Yeah, so is this worth $80? I have no idea. I have no idea what North American prices are for complete and box games because they're just way too expensive and I can't track that stuff. Here we've got, this got really expensive. So this is the Majora's Mask, the greatest game of all time, I will mention. This is the copy of Majora's Mask that came with the Memory Expansion Kit. It's going for like $70. The Memory Expansion Kit's like $20 for a genuine out of the box copy. So you're paying like $50 for Majora's Mask at this point, which it's like a $10 cartridge. If you already have a memory expansion, you don't need this. You don't need this copy. It's only if you love Majora's Mask like I do, and you want to have like every form of Majora's Mask possible. Here's Rakuga Kids. This was a Japan and PAL exclusive, I believe. I've not actually played this. This is on my shame pile of games that I need to play, but yeah, $70. It's like a $20 cartridge, I think. Here we've got Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm pretty sure this is an N64 exclusive. There are a bunch of Evangelion games for other systems, but I believe this is the only version that came out for the this is N64 only, as opposed to other games which came out for other systems. Is what I was trying to say. And seeing it for $50, that seems about fair. Like I see this on eBay, super expensive all the time. It's fun. I don't even know. It's just a game you play once, you remember that it's cool, and then you just don't go back to it. Here we go. One of my favorite games, like probably it's definitely top 5 games for the N64 period. Not just Japan only. It's Sin and Punishment. It's sort of like I don't know what to call it, but it's sort of like it's in that genre. It's in that category of trope games that are anime visions, like 90s anime visions of the future is the best way I can describe it. Like it's in the same vein as like Terra Diver, a couple of other games that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's just so awesome. It is just like really gets you into this like anime future, and the gameplay is so good. The shooting is really fun. It's like a rail shooter. If you haven't played it before, you've got to. It's so cool. It is so good that Nintendo ended up releasing it just the Japanese version worldwide on the WiiWare, on the virtual shop, or whatever it was, a virtual console. That was it. Then here we go. This is actually one of the few boxes I really want for the N64. This is Goldeneye, the Japanese copy, and it's always been pretty expensive. The cart ranges anywhere from $20 to $30. $60 is, man, if I could find this mint, I'd really love to have this, just because I love Japanese depictions of James Bond, or rather how like Japanese movie posters and other ephemera depict James Bond. I just love the art. It's just a unique spin. And then here we've got, this is Animal Crossing. If you're not familiar, Animal Crossing actually first came out for the N64. This version is a little bit different from the one that we got abroad for the GameCube. It comes with a controller pack. Because I'm guessing you needed, I can't remember if you needed a controller pack to save the game or not. I haven't played it that much. And I love this. Oh, I didn't even notice this. It's actually, so its whole thing is, it's just the box is styled like a Japanese postcard. This is where you put in the postcode. This is how you would write the address. Oh man, this is really cool. And here's the stamps. Love it. I don't know if I have this box actually. No, because I only have the cartridge. I never got the box copy of Animal Crossing. That's on the list. And that's going for like $55. Like, we've already started going down into the mid 50s on these games. That's incredible. So it's still, and Star Soldier, this must just be, I want to see what the price difference on this, because when I was in Akihabara, this for some reason was getting really, really expensive. So Star Soldier Vanishing Earth, I want to say it's like the only scrolling shooter for the N64. It's like, or it's one of very few. If you count like Banjo as a scrolling shooter. Now, what I want to see is how much the cartridge of this is, because it can't be that expensive. Now, I don't see the cartridge, because this was like, I mean, back when I was collecting, it was like $5, $10 game. It wasn't that expensive, maybe 15 pushing it. So seeing it out of the box, seeing it in the box for $60, what would the cartridge even be for that? And then this is the one that really shocked me. It's Pachinko, 365 days. A Pachinko game for like $55? Is it just because people really want it to complete their collection? It's not that good. Okay. And then over here we've got Doshin the Giant. Here's the 64 DD game. It's going for from the main website, from the Surugaya website, it's going for about $55. And on the marketplace, it's going for $35. Now, why is that? Oh, because it doesn't have the manual. That's why. So if you don't want the manual, you can buy it for 4,000 yen, as opposed to the 6,000 yen for a complete copy. Let's go to page 2. Daikatana. So if you want a copy. So Daikatana is really infamous for being like, it was a George Romero joint. He made one of those, it was like Dune or Quake, I can't remember which one. Made a really famous game, and then it took a long time, but it was like, oh, Daikatana's gonna be the biggest, most amazing game ever created, and it came out and it sucked and people didn't like it. And so seeing it for like $53 is really, like, for one of the most notorious games. Yeah, it came out in 2000, so low print run, probably just famous for how like redonkulous the hype was back in the day. We've got a cartridge of Banjo-Kazooie, North American, going for $53, whereas, I mean, Banjo-Kazooie, you can buy it in Japanese for like $10. I don't know why Japanese people would want this. Maybe they just want to play it. Is there like a reverse of Weeb, that like it's Japanese people who really want the English copies of, like, you know, of North American and European games? Maybe. Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. The graphics on this are like crazy. Like the N64, when the N64 tried to do realistic graphics of people, it did not turn out well. And so seeing this for $50, again, yeah, the commonality between basically all of these really expensive games, except for maybe like Get or Love, is they're just late release games. Now, how much are they selling? So they've got a copy of North American Smash Brothers. Why? Like, Japanese Super Smash Brothers for the N64, you can buy it complete for like $20 still. Like, maybe even $30 on Akihabara. A loose copy of Smash Brothers is like $10. Sorry about that. And then they've got Pokemon Puzzle League, which is actually, I believe this is North American exclusive. It's, or at least it was not released in Japan. So you got it for like what, $45? Sin and Punishment 45. Doom 64 is 45. Then we've got Gauntlet Legends 40 bucks. Fighting Cup. I had a hell of a time finding this. I couldn't find it for the longest time. It was it's like a $10 game when you buy it loose. Glover's $40. My lord. Here's Pro Mahjong Soldier. Is that what that is? 64. Culture Brain game going for 40 bucks. Incredible. And then just some, nothing super, like a Bass Rush. It's crazy. Like, some of these are really actually surprising, and I'm guessing it's just because the box, none of these games are particularly compelling. Like, I guess, what was this, Quest 64? I remember playing that. That was pretty fun. 36 bucks. Oh, and Perfect Dark. Oh my god. This is the best box of any game, and I think we have saved the best for last. This is the best box design for any game that has ever been made. Like, first of all, Perfect Dark is already a phenomenal game, but I just love the red on the black here. Love this setup where you've got the woman like on this side, and then you've got that balanced out with the sniper rifle on the other edge. Like, there is no comparison. I absolutely love this box, and oh, I hope I have this. Oh man, but I just love it. This used to be really expensive. This used to be like $100 for some reason, but like over the last couple of years, for some reason, the price on Perfect Dark has really dropped, which is strange to me for one, because actually Japanese Perfect Dark, they actually changed to Joanna Dark's face to look more Japanese. So it's a unique game with just like absolutely phenomenal package design, and I won't hear anything else said about this. Love it. And like finding this for like $35. I think this is just the basic copy. This is where you just get the game. Whereas there's another one that has both the memory expansion kit and the game, which I think is a bit more expensive. But like $40, absolute steal. Would buy this if I didn't already have it. And I may end up having to buy this again. But I'm going to end it here. So like the N64, just to say it again, absolutely probably the most affordable Nintendo console to collect for. And I think for me, for people in my generation, and probably for people watching this video, if the YouTube analytics are to be believed, it's got the console that's still loaded with the most nostalgia. I have revised my feelings for the N64 simply because I don't think it's as good as I remember it back when I was a kid. But there are still a lot of games, and especially if you're buying the Japanese version, you can buy an N64, all of the Mario parties, all of the good games that you can think of, the Japanese versions. You could spend $200 and have like a console and some of the best games of all time, and you can't really do that. You can do that to the Super Famicom to a certain extent, Famicom a little bit, but just nothing compares to the N64, I think. And I need to make a collecting video about it one of these days. I'm going to wrap it up here because we've been doing this for about half an hour. If you want me to do a specific console, we've already done, as of the filming of this, I've already done the Super Famicom and the Famicom. Now we've done the N64. If you want me to do a specific console, please let me know. I'm just kind of doing it in an order of what I feel like. But if you have a console you love and you want to see the Japanese prices on some of these games, please just let me know. Especially when you compare it to eBay. I think you're going to save a lot of money purchasing games from Surugaya rather than buying it from someone on eBay. That's just my recommendation for right now. Not that I've done it myself, but probably will eventually. Anyway, I have been your man out of Japan, Jay Contra. This has been the N64 Most Expensive Games. Thanks for watching. See you next time, and mahalo.